everyone, I'm Alia Bhalla, your host from IBR2, and today I'm extremely excited to have a conversation with one of our remarkable CBSE 2023 alumni, Avantika Nott. Avantika has truly excelled in various fields, going beyond academic excellence to establish herself. Whether it's playing badminton for school, or her forte in Indian dance, or her passion for contributing to society, she embodies the essence of GIIS's 9 Gems pedagogy. Let's welcome her and get more insights into her fantastic journey at GIIS and the road which lies ahead. Welcome to the show, Avantika.
Hi Alia, it's great to be here.
First of all, congratulations on successfully completing your school journey. How does it feel to be finally done with high school?
My immediate reaction was relief. Relief that my exams were finally over, that I'd never have to touch my textbooks again, no more wearing the school uniform. Now it's a bit more bittersweet. It's sad to be closing this chapter and I'm going to miss my school life, but the world's my oyster and there's so much left for me to see, learn, experience and achieve.
Yeah, I feel like after you're done with high school, there's so much ahead of you that it's scary and exciting all at the same time. At GIIS, you consistently showcased your talents in various areas outside of academics, from sports to arts, taking up leadership positions at school events, and demonstrating your proficiency in classical Indian dance as well. We would love to hear your perspective as to how the school helped hone those talents and what facilities really helped you achieve your goals outside of the classroom.
Well, I've had the pleasure of studying at 3 different GIIS campuses. Those are the East Coast campus, the SMART campus, and the Whitefield campus in Bangalore. Due to the pandemic, I also had to study online as well as I could physically come on campus to the SMART campus. I have also tried my hand at IGCSE in the school and of course now CBSE. But no matter what the course was or the location, it's only fond memories of the school that abound. My time at the school was enriched with the most uplifting teachers, super fun peers, and just a very positive learning environment.
Could you share your experience as a CBSE student? As you mentioned earlier, you've experienced both IGCSE and CBSE. So what made you pick CB for your 11th and 12th?
Okay, because of my parents' jobs, I kind of already knew that I'd have to be moving back and forth between Singapore and India. And CBSE gave me that flexibility that I needed to very easily oscillate between these two countries. Another factor was that I wanted to do my undergrad either here in Singapore or in India. So once again, CBSE made the most sense for me. As for my experience, the last couple of years can be quite stressful and overwhelming, but I'm incredibly lucky to have had so much academic and moral support, which is what ultimately steered me towards success in the boards.
As an IB student who did IGCSE before this, I've always been curious as to what CBSE entails for the life of a student. So could you tell us more about the CBSE curriculum and how it will benefit students in the future?
Okay, yeah. I think that the quality and the quantity of CBSE content and the way that this curriculum is taught sets you up to have a very solid foundation in whatever subjects you choose. Because it's not as reliant on self-study, you're able to navigate these new and complex concepts with more clarity, and you get a good understanding of the various core concepts in the subjects that you're learning. Another thing is that you get to pick whatever subjects you want, but more importantly, you limit yourself to those. There are no compulsory classes that you have to take or some subject requirements that you need to fulfill. So you can just direct all your time and attention to the subjects that you really like and what actually interests you and just hone in on those.
So as you mentioned, CBSE is a really fascinating curricula and it really does set you up so well for the future. But along with that, you had the added challenge of having to study through a global pandemic. Could you tell us the challenges of hybrid learning and limited social interaction and even reduced physical activities during COVID-19? What was that experience like for you?
I'm not gonna lie, I initially exploited the complete lack of supervision, and I absolutely was one of those people who had parallel tabs running while the Zoom class was going on. But you can only really do that for so long. It's such a privilege to be in a position where you have continued access to your education and your classes can adapt so quickly to a situation like the pandemic. And when I saw the effort all my teachers were putting in to mastering these digital tools that they were not at all comfortable with, and when I saw the kind of dedication that they had to keeping the classes going, keeping us engaged, keeping us focused on in class, I just felt compelled to reciprocate that in some way, and I could do that by paying attention to them, doing my work responsibly, being honest when we had online exams. And yeah, that's basically how I coped with online learning. In terms of my social life, I don't have much of one. I think I'm not the most extroverted.
Yeah, it's so great to hear how kind of every student had to adapt to online learning, and so I always find it interesting to see how different people kind of manage that. You've really been part of GIIS Singapore since grade 2, but as we were discussing before we started filming, you've been to various campuses both in Singapore and outside. So could you tell us more about how the school maybe supported you between moving from the Singapore campuses to Whitefield and back, and what that was like for you?
Okay. In terms of all the official stuff, I have the admin team and the GIIS support staff for making these transitions between Singapore and India so seamless. I'm also forever grateful to all my teachers on both ends because they were always looking out for me. They took the time to personally sit down with me and teach me whole chapters that I had missed, and they also went out of their way to look for videos or additional resources that I could later refer to if they were busy and I just wanted to practice some more, something like that.
So as you were mentioning, the teachers at both ends really helped make the transitions quite seamless for you. And at GIIS, I've experienced it myself. We kind of take pride at our exceptional faculty and our teachers, and they've played a vital role for, I think, both of us in helping us achieve our goals both inside and outside of the classroom. Could you share the impact of teachers on your journey as a student in GIIS?
The teachers at GIIS are without a doubt highly knowledgeable and experienced, but they're also such warm and caring people that you feel like you can turn to at any point. As I mentioned earlier, my teachers made sure I was well settled whenever I joined mid-semester. Usha ma'am, for one, taught me I think at least 4 math chapters, all in her own time. She could have been enjoying her free period, but she sacrificed that just so that I would know what was going on in class. Another thing that was very beneficial to me was all these goal setting sessions that we had after all the exams, and they were very constructive since each teacher thought carefully about me as an individual and then came up with things that I could do to improve, specific strategies that I could adopt, and gave me tips and tricks that were most relevant to me.
Even I find that the goal setting sessions, while it's difficult to nitpick at yourself, it really teaches you the art of self-introspection in a way. The school provides numerous platforms for students to explore and nurture their creative abilities and foster their holistic growth. You yourself are multifaceted and you exemplify this spirit through pursuits in sports, your dedication to volunteering for several social causes. Could you elaborate on these passions of yours, and how did the school nurture and support these interests over the course of your learning journey?
Okay. Quite early on, my dance teacher at the East Coast campus, Shabonti ma'am, recognized my talents. She encouraged me to participate in school events like the annual day and the Jhankar competition. I also got opportunities to perform her choreography on larger platforms like at Esplanade or in the community centers around Singapore. Through the GICC program, I took up Bharatanatyam lessons, so that also gave me more occasions to dance and showcase my dancing abilities. Another hobby of mine is sports, and badminton being my favorite. Gerald sir was the one who suggested that I sign up for we had these Saturday classes for badminton. I think it was actually part of GICC as well, I'm not sure. But we had those in East Coast, so he suggested I join that, and he also pushed me to try out for Gold Squad. Eventually I did make it onto the team, and he was a source of encouragement to everyone on the team, and he always motivated us through our access tournaments, which I think I did under 12, under 14 and under 16 badminton.
That's so impressive how much you did while also balancing your, academics. And there's a saying that goes, be a learner first, a master second, and a student always. And your love for learning is so evident in your academic success and the way you speak about learning and your education. According to you, what traits do students today need to kind of hone and have to be able to balance their academic and non-academic pursuits? And how did you manage to balance your extracurriculars along with your academics?
I think there are two very basic things. One is prioritization, and the other is time management. In your younger years, you might have tried all sorts of different activities, but now's the time to really cull the ones that you are truly passionate about from this huge pool of extracurricular stuff that you've done. You need to try to keep it manageable and don't simply overburden yourself trying to do every single thing that there is to do, and chances are you don't really like half of them anyway, and you're just doing it for the sake of it maybe. Time management is also definitely key. I'd suggest you draw up a schedule and try to be as organized about the various things that you're doing, just so that you are aware of what all your commitments are, what all assignments you have, and also you know what your deadlines are, and you're not missing out on something or scrambling last minute.
And so what are your future plans? I feel like we've discussed so much about what you've done in the past and your education journey up until today, but what lies ahead?
Okay, I'm planning to pursue biotech, and NTU is the university that I like the most in terms of course and campus and all of that, so I'm hoping to get in there. I haven't really thought too far into the future otherwise. Like you mentioned, I have done a lot of volunteering work with organizations like the Institute of Mental Health, the National Kidney Foundation, Youth Co. Singapore, SINDA, lots of different ones, and I continue to find it fulfilling to do volunteer work, so I have a few more things coming up since I'm free before universities start. I think the one I'm looking forward to most is volunteering at an animal shelter, because I love animals, but I don't know, I just could not find any opportunity to volunteer. I tried at the zoo, but that didn't, you were not allowed to go near the animals. So that's probably what I'm looking forward to most, and I think I'd like to go on a vacation as well, either with my friends or my family. I probably deserve it, so yeah.
So we were talking about universities and how you want to go to NTU, and I was just thinking about it. In your senior year in 12th grade, not only are you balancing extracurriculars and academics, but you have this added pressure of university applications. So what was that process like for you, and how did you balance everything in a manageable way?
I have a couple tips when it comes to applications. Number one, start early and start with doing a thorough research into what your college options are, and also find what's really appealing to you. Try to figure out where they stand depending on what you value in a college, and that also will help you narrow it down later, because ultimately you have to pick just one, and it doesn't help to have 20 different options. Number two, definitely leverage the career counseling services that we have here at GIIS and attend as many of the information sessions, sharing sessions, seminars that are often organized by the school in collaboration with lots of the global universities. Number three, be well informed of your course prerequisites and whatever other criteria they might have before you can apply. If you know well in advance that there's some entrance exam that you need to be prepared for or some portfolio that you need to curate, you can work on that at a very comfortable pace and not be rushing with it and getting really stressed about it towards the end. Lastly, this is a bit more practical, but I think it also makes sense to scan, make copies and consolidate all official documents that universities are likely to need, just so that you can get through that part of your application very easily, quickly, smoothly, and not be wasting too much time, because every university does need all these documents, and if you have them all in one place, all organized together, then that becomes not much of a hassle and you can focus on the actual part of the application that matters.
Actually, thank you so much for your tips on uni apps, because I'm also in the batch that's kind of going into that process right now, and I think we all need all the help we can get with that. It's such a confusing process at times. So as you prepare to embark on your educational journey at whichever university you go to, what aspect are you most excited about?
It's exhilarating just thinking about this entirely new phase of my life, the different people I'm going to meet, the unique perspectives I'm going to gain, the opportunities and the kind of exposure that I'll get. It's both, like you said, daunting and exciting to be entering adulthood. I'll have to learn how to be independent, how to be self-sufficient, but I think it's going to be a fun journey finding my way in the world, and yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to our viewers or listeners?
Yeah, definitely approach your teachers if you need anything and utilize all the amazing resources that are at your disposal. Try to use your time as wisely as possible, and that means have fun as well. Of course, you need to focus, concentrate on your studies, but you should also allow yourself chances to do something leisurely, to have a bit of entertainment, and have all of this even towards the end, even when the exams are kind of near, because hyperfixating and thinking that you need to be surrounded by books and past year papers and worksheets 24/7 is going to end up being quite counterproductive, and you'll find yourself being fatigued physically, of course, but especially mentally, and I think you'll just end up in a very negative headspace and you won't be in the right mindset at all to do your best in the exams and write them well. It's a serious time, but it's not the end of the world, so you just need to give it your all, do your best, and I wish everyone good luck.
Thanks so much for that. I feel like we've all experienced exam blues, and at the end of the day, cramming at the last minute is not sustainable at all. Thank you so much for your incredible insights on your journey and for sharing with us so candidly. I really do wish you all the best on behalf of the entire school.
Thank you.
So, Avantika, as you were mentioning, you like to have some fun at the end of a process just to kind of make it a bit more lighthearted. So we're going to have a quick Q&A session. I'm going to ask you a couple of rapid fire questions and you have to answer them as quickly as possible. These are unseen questions, all right? Are you ready?
Sure.
What is your least and most favorite subject?
My least favorite subject is physics and most favorite is biology.
What is your go-to meal or snack at the school cafeteria?
Probably the curly fries or the samosa.
Do you have a favorite spot in the campus, somewhere that you went whenever everything was just too stressful or you wanted to calm down?
Yeah, I actually do have a favorite spot in the campus. I haven't been there in a while and I don't know if it still exists, but my friends and I used to call it the Kisses because it's shaped like a Hershey's Kisses. It's in the primary block on the first floor. It's this like enclosure super comfy, super cozy. It has all these pillows. You can go inside and just lie down over there.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
So that's my favorite spot.
If you had to take one of your hobbies and make it into a career, what would you choose?
Okay, so I recently got totally into thrift shopping. So I'd probably be like a personal shopper for people, but I'd get all the clothes from like thrift stores and
What-
I'd like sell them.
What's your
based on
best
that.
tip for thrifting?
I think, no, actually, this is not a tip, it's just something that I want people to do. I've noticed that quite a few of the thrift stores in Singapore have a very trust-based system, and so they don't check how much you're paying. They just say you need to pay so and so amount based on the number of pieces you get. But most people just don't pay the right amount, and they just shoplift. And I'm like, this stuff is thrifted, pay for it.
Okay, so be honest.
It's quite cheap only.
So be honest. Okay, and what do you have one favorite item that you've thrifted before? Last question.
No, I don't have a favorite item. I just keep thrifting whenever I see anything. Just keep buying new stuff. Yeah.
Thank you, Avantika, for taking the time to speak with us. I'm certain, just like I have, many students will be inspired by your journey and learn from your insights to make the most of their student lives.
Thank you for having me, and hopefully one day someone says that I'm their inspiration.
Thank you everyone for watching, and until next time, this is Alia, your host, signing off.